Guys, I'm really happy to welcome to the podcast my friend Robby Starbuck. Robby is he's a former Hollywood guy. He's a filmmaker. He's directed all kinds of music stuff. His family is originally from Cuba, in fact, fled communism. And now he is running for Congress in District 5 of Tennessee. And Robby, delighted to have you on the podcast. Thanks for joining me. First of all, I got to say, you're running for Congress, and Robby Starbuck is really a cool name. Is that your real name, or is this a stage name?
It is actually a real name. Yeah, no, my family gave some very strange names to us. It's a really long story, but yes, it is a real name.
Yeah, because if I went around calling myself Dinesh Starbuck, people would give me a little bit of a suspicious look, I think, right?
Yes, especially because my family is from Cuba. You know, there's people that are like, is that a Cuban last name? No, me and my sisters all got very strange names, and it is a really long, weird story, but it all involves stars and suns and stuff like this. So it's like sunshine, starshine. It's strange. It's a weird one, but it's fun.
Hey, listen, you have had a career in Hollywood, in films as well as in music. Talk about how that world and maybe what was happening in that world pointed you or pushed you in the direction of politics.
You know, it was really a combination of seeing the way the left had taken over culture in every segment, where you could just tell that there was this environment where you couldn't have any view opposing this one that they had approved. You know, seeing that in the United States of America, that you couldn't just be free to disagree. And seeing just some of the markers throughout the Obama administration is really what provoked me to come out and, endorse President Trump, but then also, be very vocal on politics. Because, I said I'd rather be a poor man with integrity and stand up for what I believe in the way that, so many Cubans wish they would have, than be a rich man who is silent and is essentially a puppet of somebody else because they control what I say and don't say.
And is it the case that your political convictions were, I'm sure, in part formed by just the knowledge of your family's experience, what your family was fleeing, the way in which tyranny in Cuba, as in other socialist societies, is not just the tyranny of the government or inside the government, but spreads through every nook and cranny of the society?
Yeah, definitely heavily informed by it. The family experience is obviously what runs through my DNA. But beyond that, you really don't even need a family experience to see what's going on in our country right now. I said it right before the 2020 election. What we were facing was, if we had a Democrat in office, we had somebody like Joe Biden in the current modern Democratic Party, which is not a liberal group. They're not in any way what they claim to be. They are a Marxist party now, that we were going to be headed towards runaway inflation. We were going to have an economic crisis, the likes of which we haven't seen in our modern lifetime. And I think that's exactly where we're heading now. And I think that I was absolutely right. And I think, anybody who has a wallet that is living in America right now can tell we're veering off a cliff.
Robby, you have issued something that you're calling the New Contract with America, a reference, I'm sure, to the 1994 Contract with America that Newt Gingrich and his team put out. Let's talk. I want to talk about some of the provisions in the New Contract with America, but before we do, talk about why the Republican Party needs to take this kind of a step in your view. Is it because Republicans can't merely run against Biden? They need to spell out a kind of, this is our path, and we're going to specify it with some clarity so the American people know exactly what they're getting if they decide to toss the Biden team out and bring in the other team.
That was exactly what I was feeling. But beyond that, just the overall environment that I'm seeing on the campaign trail of people saying, what do we get in these places? How do we tell who's a real person that's really going to fight for us? And I think that that's a barometer we don't really have. And especially when you look at how quickly, you've seen some people cave in the past to the establishment. People want to know, are you going to stick to these things or not? And so I felt like it was important to have something like this, especially when you look around and you see the environment we're in, where we've had so many people content to just not lose every election. That doesn't mean they actually want to win every election. They're content with just not losing all of them. And if we want to be a dominant party, we want to truly be a party that can make these things in the contract become a reality, we have to have a cohesive group that is sticking to an actual plan to go on offense instead of just constantly being on defense. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being on defense. I'm tired of seeing people defend, oh, we're not racist, we're not this, we're not that. We need to be on offense. We need to be selling a vision for America that is aspirational, that people can latch onto and say, I want that.
Let's take a pause, Robby. When we come back, I want to look at some of the ingredients of your new contract with America and have you make the case that this can be a sort of platform, not just for you, but that the Republican Party in general can get behind.